forego the horror comedy blend of the original in favor of being completely in on the meme. It goes about as well as you'd expect. Okay, it's not Morbin time levels of bad, but it gets pretty awkward and definitely bites off a lot more than it can chew. Also, the kid who was perfectly fine in the first movie is just awful here. One of the worst child performances I've seen in a while. After the heaping mounds of Brontosaurus diarrhea that were Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, my expectations for Rebirth were, well, extinct. I'll give it this: there are a handful of moments that manage to capture a microscopic speck of the feeling of the original. I think that's helped by one or two characters who I actually didn't want to see get eaten, shit out, and then eaten again. I do mean a couple. Jonathan Bailey gives his all into a pretty underwritten role, and Mahershala Ali's as effortlessly cool as he always is. Everyone else couldn't remember if he put a gun to my head. I don't think Scarlett Johansson even knew what movie she was in half the time. Could be the fault of some pretty abysmal green screening. Also, the fucking Tumorsaurus at the end, it just looks stupid. I'm sorry. Well, this movie sure took over the entire fucking planet, didn't it? You either love K-pop demon hunters or you don't. I like it. I'm not a K-pop guy, but the songs are bangers, all of them. Most of them. You ask 100 people what their favorite song from this movie is, you probably won't get the same answer twice in a row. In case you're wondering, mine is this.
I'm all you need, I'ma be your idol.
I just wish it hadn't veered into so many old cliches. Like, did we really need a love triangle and a liar revealed story in 2020 goddamn 5? I'm just gonna say it, this movie's a mess. The story is all over the place, and they expect you to take in a lot of world building in a very short amount of time. I'm talking Superman, Lois, Daily Planet, Crypto, Lex, the Justice Gang, as well as a foreign military conflict that is in no way intended as a parallel to any real-world events. None. Also, this movie is sappier than a fossilized mosquito. It's almost saccharine at points. And yet, I enjoyed almost every minute of it. Nicholas Hoult is undeniably the MVP as Lex Luthor. Spiteful, conniving, and petty as hell. Turns out, James Gunn is just as good as adapting some of the most famous characters of all time as he is for wireless nobodies. I gotta hand it to DreamWorks, even their corporate slop is one-upping Disney's. Okay, that's a little mean, but it's true. There's really no reason for this movie to exist besides money. The music, as well as the flying scenes, are just as breathtaking as they were the first time around, and Gerard Butler is of course giving it his all. So yeah, it's a copy and paste, but it's a good copy and paste. What do you know? After 4 attempts, they finally made a Fantastic Four movie that's not steaming liquid ass. These guys feel like an actual superhero family, and I love the way they work off of each other, even with a terrible CG baby in the mix. I would have liked a bit more of both Silver Surfer and Galactus. They were good, but I think a bit more development would have made them really good. When I said that The Human Centipede was a movie that forgot it was supposed to be a comedy, this is what I meant. It's a really fun time, even though the body horror is pretty tame. So don't go in expecting anything on the level of The Substance or even really The Fly. Really, the most disturbing thing in this movie was the couple sitting next to me in the theater who I swear to God were trying to reenact this in real time. The only reason they cast Liam Neeson in this is because his name kinda sounds like Leslie Nielsen. Worth it. It's nice to see that filmmakers still know how to make comedies that are advertised as comedies and are funny. I enjoyed this movie almost as much as I fucking hated the audience I saw it with. Ban children from theaters. Ban phones too. Nothing else to say. Movie was good. Audience was fucking unbearable. Not only is this a fantastic PSA against the dangers of Naruto running, it's a wildly fun horror movie to boot. Zach Kreger is one of those people who knows that horror and comedy are two sides of the same coin, and he balances them almost perfectly. I've heard complaints that it's mostly just built up and all the real insanity is saved for the end. And while I do get it, there's no way I can be mad at the setup when the punchline is that good. I really liked the first Nobody, and when I heard the sequel was going to be directed by the same guy who did The Shadow Strays and The Night Comes for Us, I got really excited. It carries a lot of the charm of the first movie, even if a lot of it is pretty recycled right down to the Home Alone style climax. but I'm never gonna complain about seeing Christopher Lloyd in new stuff. If you've never seen Ne Zha 1, I do kinda recommend it if you want to get caught up, but this makes that movie look like a student film project, along with every single other animated movie of this year. It came out of nowhere to become the highest grossing animated movie of all time. And honestly, I think it's deserved. If you haven't seen it and you're allergic to subtitles, they recently released an English dub, so now you have no excuse. Seeing Shrek's left testicle disembowel people with a mop is just as hilarious and disgusting as I was hoping for. I think I like the original Troma movie a lot more, but this is one of those good modernized remakes, you know? Austin Butler gets mixed in with Russian gangsters, corrupt cops, gun-toting rabbis, and a mohawked Matt Smith in this pretty standard thriller that still really works because of, well, everything I just said in the first half of that sentence. Probably the most normal movie Aronofsky's ever made. I wouldn't be surprised if he took this from Guy Ritchie on a dare. Whew, Dr. Scholl's ain't gonna save you this time. This was gritty, brutal, perfectly paced with characters you actually care for. This is one of the best King adaptations I've seen in a while, and true to tradition, I didn't care for the ending. Like, I get it, it just didn't really work for me. Wanna know something interesting? This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, but if you cut out all the flashback scenes, it's barely long enough to qualify for a short film. I'm struggling to think of an anime carried this much by the animation than Demon Slayer. I didn't think anything was going to top Sinners this year, but I think this one just did. A jet-propelled story that never drags in its near 3-hour runtime. It's intense, it's grueling, it's unsettlingly relevant, but also incredibly funny, intentionally. This is probably Leo's best performance since Wolf of Wall Street. Chase Infinity is fantastic in her first ever feature film role. Sean Penn plays a dude bro Hans Landa who walks like a bootleg action figure of Vince McMahon, but the scene stealer's gotta be Benicio del Toro. And seeing that ending chase in IMAX is gonna be one of my core movie memories of 2025. I really was not expecting this from the same guy who did Alien vs. Predator.